Right now, she didn't write her name for me today. She attempted. She wrote some of the letters, but she wrote them in the wrong order.
Okay.
So I would just practice those things a little bit at home, even if it's just that you're writing it and she's tracing it.
Yeah.
But supporting her, if they're bringing home like little worksheets, I would try not to frustrate her with it too much because it is hard. But reading to her as much as possible so that she is really exposed to lots of words. She got 2 sight words for me today. She wrote in and not in. She mixed up in. She actually told me it. She read my, and I'm blanking on the other one, but she read a couple sight words for me today. But you can expose her to lots of sight words just by reading to her. And I would read to her with books that are below kind of what you would typically read to a 6-year-old. So I would read her books that are like for a 3-year-old, and just that she's exposed to those kind of early sight words. That would be a really big thing for me, because that's a game changer if we can get her to be able to even just read a little bit. That's a game changer for her life long term. Being able to, right now she doesn't recognize the difference consistently between that's a letter and that's a number. So those types of things, just so lots of exposure to words as much as possible would be a big thing that I would be working on with her at home.
Okay, excellent.
Great.
And we do that. We try. So.
Yeah, she's doing awesome, and I would really try to make it as fun as possible for her, because we know it's hard, and she has a history of being pretty frustrated when things are hard for her. Although she did awesome for me today, just really awesome. So that's fantastic to see just how much she's able to tolerate now in terms of being frustrated. And I think a lot of it has to do with how much better she can communicate now. I mean, I can understand everything she says now, which is a huge improvement over where we were when we first started, when she had lots of almost words, but maybe no real clear words the first time that I met her. Yeah, she did awesome. So I'm really pleased. So I'll let you follow up with Kristen right now, and I think we can stay in touch. I'm not sure necessarily the appropriate next follow-up appointment for me. So once we kind of see kids in, we kind of really have a firm idea what's going on there in a good program, sometimes we'll push visits out a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll talk to Kristen and have her kind of like so that way you're not coming to appointments that you don't need to be, and have her kind of like talk to her if you feel like you need to come back and see me and do a reevaluation. I'm happy to see her at any time really, but since you're linked up with Kristen, really I'll let Kristen kind of be that person to kind of decide, okay, yep, now is the time. So it could be earlier than a year, it could be at a year, it could be later than a year, or whenever you request.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You ready to go home?
Ready? You need to go back to school? Oh, and let me not forget to give you these back. I need every copies that I need.
It's my favorite.
Oh, you're not going to see Kristen today.